Alright, something else about the Osni. Our PSS Poncho, it's a Poncho survival shelter. It also means Poncho shelter system. So our fleece poncho liners, our Osni cloaks, those are all part of the Poncho shelter system. So I can use the Osni inside the poncho when I'm wearing it for an insulated coat with a weatherproof exterior. I can use the Osni by itself just as a standalone coat. I can use the Osni kind of as a sleeping bag. I can use it as a blanket. I can use it as a top quilt. I can use it as an underquilt. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. Aside from the poncho, the Osni might be the most other useful piece of gear that you could own right there. All right, something else about the Osni, as well as our blankets and other gear. It's all breathable. It's made to handle moisture well, and made to be multi-purpose. So I can wear the Osni like this, and I can snap it down here a little bit if I want. These are double-sided snaps on here. I can just snap one end, take the cords. These cords are normally used for hanging this underneath a poncho in hammock mode to make this thing into an underquilt. Okay, so now, since these snaps on here are double-sided, I can use them a number of different ways. So I can snap a number of these up. Now, one thing I should mention is, well, it depends on how big you are, but for most, if you're a thin person, you can probably make a suitable sleeping bag out of this. But if you're like me, I'm a little larger. Larger than I used to be. But even at that, I can't really quite close it all the way down on me, but I can get into here. I can make this thing pretty much be a sleeping bag for me, because I can be all the way inside. I can lay this thing down, and I got just a little bit of gap right here, but that's not too bad. If that gap is a problem, what you do is you wind up rolling over slightly, so long as the ground is somewhat suitable. So you might have part of your arm or something on the ground. Well, then you can put this over, and now it can come all the way down. So that way I can be totally enclosed in here, and I'm good to go. And I can use this as pretty much a sleeping bag, pretty close, kind of a 3/4 bivvy or whatever. It's really more than that. It's almost a sleeping bag. It's just close. So if I want to use the Osni as a blanket, what I want to do is draw the hood shut. That way that seals off air from coming through it. And maybe I've got a blanket, maybe I've got some kind of pad to lay on, maybe I don't. Maybe I've just got some of the debris on the ground from a juniper tree or like this pine tree. In that case, I just put this thing on me like a blanket, and I lay right here. Now, if you can find a place where the sun was shining on the ground, like a west-facing place under a tree, the sun would have warmed that ground before it went down, and then you lay on that ground. It's not going to be as cold as other ground. So you lay right on the ground there, put this over the top of you. Oftentimes that's all you need. Now I just reach down. Because I'm snapped on the back side, I don't have to worry about losing it. Then I just take my foot and I just push it down. Now I can sleep just like this. It'd be plenty warm. I can put it over my face, over my head. So right there, so there's how the Osni can be used as a top quilt. Alright, so the Osni Cloak, I've found oftentimes if I can be warm enough underneath me, all I got to do is come down here. The snaps on the Osni match exactly, they match the snaps on the ponchos. So now my Osni has just become a full length, not just a partial length like a lot of them do, 3/4 length, whatever, but a full length underquilt. Now let me show you how you finish it off here. Each end of the Osni has some drawstrings in it, and I just put it, actually I just put them through the tie outs at the end here, but since I have this quick connect on here, I'm just going to use the quick connect deals. Alright, so all you do here is you're closing the end in here by drawing that up. You run that down. Now you see that's all drawn up in here. Now the ends are closed so I don't get air circulating in there. And now the poncho in hammock mode holds my body weight. The Osni is not compressed because of me laying on it. So I have the full value of the insulation, which is the purpose of an underquilt. But having the Osni Cloak with you means it's a piece of gear you can use for more than one thing. So that may mean that you can leave another piece of gear home because the Osni Cloak can fill 2 or 3 different roles.